Good morning and welcome back to my channel, Siza Estrella. Today I'll read David Copperfield, Chapter 4. David and his aunt. So, after helping the Micappers to pack their few clothes and waving goodbye to them at the coach station on their way to Devon, I went to the warehouse for my last day at work. I did not tell anyone I would not be coming back the following week. In the evening, I packed my case and put the 10 shillings in the little purse Peggotty had once given me. I looked around for someone to help me with my case, which was rather heavy for me, and saw a tall young man with a horse and cart passing by. "Could you please take my case to the coach station?" I asked him politely. The young man put the case into his cart, then, looking around quickly to make sure there were no witnesses, he pushed me roughly against the wall and took my purse out of my trembling hand. Before I could say a word, he had driven the horse and cart down the road and out of sight round the corner. I knew I would never see him, my case, or my 10 shillings again. I sat down on the pavement and cried. Now, I had lost everything I owned in the world and had no money for the coach fare too. To the coach fare to Devon. In the end, I decided I would have to walk there, and I started the long journey. It took me 6 days to cover the 100 kilometers, as I got tired very easily and had no rest. I sold my jacket for a shilling so that I could buy bread and milk on the way, and at night I slept in disused farm buildings or under trees. Sometimes I was afraid of the dangerous-looking beggars and thieves I met on the road, but I knew I had to keep going. As I walked, I thought of my mother's gentle, pretty face. I felt sure she would approve of what I was doing, and that encouraged me to continue. But when I arrived in Dover, it seemed a much larger town than I had imagined. I spent a whole morning asking people if they knew where Miss Betsy Trotwood lived. Finally, I found someone who recognized the name and showed me the way to her house. I stood at her front door in the neat little garden for a few moments, trembling with fear and wondering what my aunt would think of me. My face and hands were dirty. My hair was unbrushed, and my clothes were torn and dusty. Perhaps she wouldn't even want to invite me into her house. Just then, a handsome but strict-looking gray-haired woman came out of the door toward me. I knew she must be my aunt. "Go away," she said crossly. "I don't allow anyone to walk on my grass." "Please, madam," I said bravely. "Please, aunt." "What?" cried Miss Betsy in great surprise. "Please, aunt, I'm your nephew." "Good heavens!" she cried and sat down rather suddenly on the grass. "I'm David Copperfield, your nephew's son, of Blunderstone in Suffolk, where you came on the night I was born and saw my dear mother. I've been very unhappy since she died. My stepfather sent me to work in London, and I hated it and ran away, and someone stole my case and my money, and I've had to walk all the way, and I haven't slept in a bed for 6 nights. Here my self-control broke, and I fell to the ground, sobbing bitterly. My aunt jumped to her feet, picked me up, and took me into her sitting room, where she mixed some medicines in a glass and made me drink it. She also wrapped me in a large blanket and put me on her sofa. Then she rang the bell for her servant. "Janet, please ask Mr. Dick to come here." "Janet," she said. A tall gray-haired, pleasant-looking gentleman entered a few minutes later, laughing rather strangely to himself. "Now, Mr. Dick," said my aunt firmly, "don't be a fool, because we all know you're intelligent." Mr. Dick looked very serious at once. "No doubt you remember that I had a nephew." David Copperfield? Well, this is his son. He has run away. Oh, really? David's son? Run away? Well, said Mr. Dick. Now, the question is, Mr. Dick, what shall I do with him? Well, Mr. Dick looked vacantly at me, and then suddenly his eyes shone. If I were you, I would wash him. Well done, Mr. Dick. You always have the right answer, said my aunt delightedly. And so they washed me and gave me clean clothes and delicious food. While I was eating, my aunt stared at me occasionally, whispering, "God heavens," to herself. When she could see that I felt better, she asked me question after question, and I told her the story of my life. "God heavens," she said again. When I had finished, why did your poor mother marry again? What a terrible mistake! Perhaps she was in love," suggested Mr. Dick, smiling his foolish smile. "In love?" said Miss Betsy crossly. "Perhaps the poor silly girl thought she was in love. But now, Mr. Dick, another question. What should we do with the boy?" "Well," said Mr. Dick, thinking. Then an idea suddenly came to him. "You should put him to bed." "Thank you again, Mr. Dick, for your common sense," said my aunt happily. Janet put the boy to bed, and so, in a comfortable, clean little bed, in a pleasant, airy room at the top of Miss Betsy Trotwood's house, I floated away into the world of my dreams. At breakfast next morning, I bravely asked my aunt, "Have you? What's going to happen to me?" "I've written to your stepfather," she replied. "Oh, are you going to send me back to the Murdstone? Please don't, Aunt. Please, let me stay here," I cried, trembling. "I don't know what I'll do yet. We'll have to wait and see." This is the end of my video today. Thank you for watching till the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the notification button so you can see my videos as the moment I upload it at YouTube. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.